Microphones look really easy to use, but still, you see people making basic mistakes that can make your audio crap. So let's go over a few. And be honest with me, if I call out one of your mistakes, let me know down below. There's no shame here. We're all here to learn. First up, it's pretty basic. It's talking into the wrong part of the mic. Now, this used to be a red flag for Yeti users who would talk into the top of the mic, not knowing it was side address. And this is such a problem for some microphones that companies have even started putting reminders on the mic as to what direction to speak into it. This is one of the mics that might need that. This is the AKG P420. And you notice it looks like it could be top address, but it's side address. Now, if this was you having this issue and you want a couple surefire ways to make sure it doesn't happen again, there's a few things you can do. First, you can find the capsule through the grill. This doesn't work for everything, and it's usually just good for condensers. Once you do find it, you should have a pretty good idea of the direction of the microphone. Another thing that might point you in the right direction is the logo of the company. Generally, that is in the direction you want to point your sound hole. But again, it's not always the best way to tell. However, if you want a foolproof way to figure this out, read the manual. Most microphones that aren't completely clear on how they are addressed have this in the manual. It's easily Googleable. Next up is an extremely common mistake, so don't feel bad, even the pros do this. This is not utilizing a microphone from the right distance. This includes getting all up in it and even being too far away from it. You see, most mics have a usable distance, and depending, it's usually between 2 inches to 6 inches. Now, this does change microphone to microphone, but when you get too close to a microphone, you activate the proximity effect, and it can just sound like a muddy mess. I know there's a lot of people that think that's a good thing, but trust me, it's not. Now, there are some mics that actually deal with proximity quite well, like the RE series from Electro Voice, or even the SM7B, which has the capsule about an inch back from the grill. Also, this microphone, the Lawton Audio LS208, handles it quite well as well. Most other microphones, you can get close, but you want to find that sweet spot. And for most microphones, it is around the 2-inch mark. As for being too far away from the microphone, what this does is it thins your voice out. You lose a lot of the dynamics to your voice when you do this. Now, that operating range for a microphone is fine to move around in between. In fact, it's good to do your own dynamics when you're using a microphone. If you get a little bit loud, you can back off a bit. If you're going to whisper, you might want to get in close. But try hard to not fall out of that range for the microphone, because if you do, you might fall into the next trap. And the third mistake is one that a lot of people like to blame on the microphone, but it usually comes down to improper use. And that's gaining up too much. Now, I know if you're live streaming, this is a fine balance, but generally the gain and proximity go hand in hand. But putting the mic further away from you and gaining up just does two things. It makes you need to talk louder, and it also makes the room have more of a presence in your audio. This was a famous screw up by Jay's 2 cents a couple years back when he put out a hit piece on the SM7B. Now, he was annoyed at how bad the mic sounded, but in reality, the mic was too far away from him and he got called out hardcore. Again, it's a common mistake, though it is usually made with condenser microphones. You see a lot of people try to put the mic away from them while gaming and to gain it up, and that's so it doesn't get in their way, but also it kind of stays out of the shot. And if you're not in a great space when you do this, it's going to sound bad. This is a fine balance with condensers, and you want to stay in that sweet spot for the mic. You gain down and get a little closer. You can gain up and slightly move it away. The worse the room is, though, the closer you want that mic to your mouth, and the lower the gain, the better. You have to remember there are some nuances to microphones that you need to be cognizant of and constantly monitoring. Which leads us to number 4, not monitoring. And I know I'm breaking this rule all the time. And if I'm being honest, this has led me to more video reshoots than I would like to admit. But there is nothing that can crush you faster than realizing your whole interview is complete trash because you weren't monitoring, or that whole diatribe wasn't caught because you didn't realize there was an issue with your audio. This isn't a common issue, but let me tell you, its favorite time to pop up is when the recording is one that is hard or perhaps even impossible to recreate. And I guarantee you this will bite you in the ass hard one day, and it will be on a mission-critical recording. Anyone that has worked in broadcasting knows this all too well. One upside to getting bit is it teaches you to monitor these situations, and it also teaches you that cutting corners may not get you every time. Oh, it will get you eventually. And lastly, this one is multifaceted. Either handling the mic the wrong way or just handling the mic at all. If you can, leave the bloody microphone alone and only handle it when you aren't talking. And I know this is something that is really hard to get out of the habit of, but it will save you hours in post-production. And by the way, if you're monitoring your audio and you see someone on your podcast doing this, smack their hand with a ruler. It's another reason to be constantly monitoring. Now, if you do have to handle the mic, stay away from the capsule with your hand. It can cause filtering of certain frequencies, and it can even reflect your voice off the hand for some weird artifacting. Also, avoid hand movements on the microphone, and also try to avoid moving the microphone hand to hand. Now, you remember, pros have different setups than you, and there are a lot of things that good producers can do to get rid of all that nasty sound, but that's probably not your reality. And if you were in a live situation, one of the most common reasons for feedback is handling noise. So, stop it. And remember, a lot of professionals hold their microphone like this for that very reason. What did I miss, though? Any cardinal rules that I forgot? Let me know down below. Cheers, guys, and thanks for watching. Isn't this how the Pope holds it?